Some things just go together. Wine and cheese, flowers in springtime, and yes, books and bottles. We pair your favorite author with your favorite drink. Your host of Books and Bottles, Benita Johnson.
Hi, and welcome to Books and Bottles. I'm your host, Benita Johnson. This is our spirited literary conversation where we pair an author and his or her book with a spirit. So I'm excited to be back with you tonight. Today we have a hot book to talk about. We're talking about Black's Innocence with author Sylvia Hubbard. And so I'm telling you right now, if you've read this book, I know you're like me, like, if you haven't, you're in for a real treat with this conversation. If this is your first time with us, welcome. If you've been with us before, welcome back. I invite you to follow indie.tv and follow it on Facebook so you can see these events that we air every Sunday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So without further ado, I want to bring on our author for tonight, Miss Sylvia Hubbard.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm blessed and safe. So yeah, I'm in Detroit, just holding it down.
It's amazing because, right now we got so many different things going on, with COVID, with the power transition, and it's just an amazing time to be alive.
It is. I think I've connected more with people now than I did before. Usually it was like a Facebook hi, but now it's like, oh, I want to call you on the phone, or I'm going to send you a card. Like, this is the first year I'm sending Christmas cards ever. And because I just feel like I need to.
We had, I guess a week ago, we had a person on the show who was, he is a mental health professional. And, this is a whole different era, and we're doing a whole lot of things that we haven't done before. Right. So I'm just grateful to be able to do them.
Right.
So let's jump into this book, Black's Innocence. Hold up the book so folks can see the cover.
To my Vanna White.
I love it. Love you, Vanna White. So Sylvia, Black's Innocence. Mm-hmm. This book, okay, innocent, it should be in like finger quotes. Ain't not innocent about this here book.
Right. Well, that was kind of like the teaser for me because, and that's a lot of people who I know read the book or always say that. They're always like, no, you could have named it something else. But I needed to have that because I wanted you to go in that innocent spirit, like, oh my God, what could possibly happen?
Okay, look, we'll ask Lauren that question, right? What could possibly happen?
Happen next?
So Lauren is the main-ish character,
protagonist,
right? And so she kind of goes in this thing about her happier life, and then she meets Tyler.
Right, and I kind of did it because a lot of my girlfriends, when I started writing on especially on Facebook, they were doing this my husband to be, and this is how my life is gonna be, and they even started dowries and their wedding boxes and stuff like that. And I'm like, you can't even pay your monthly bill on your phone bill. Get your life together. No, once I get married, everything will just fall into place and it'll just be perfect. And I'm sitting back and like, you know what? Every time you make plans, God laughs.
Exactly. He has his own plan.
Right. I just said I had to put this book out because it's kind of like a warning to us. Get ourselves together before we start thinking about trying to be with someone else. Have your life together, have everything done for you before you even think about, who you're going to be with and everything like that. So Lauren tried, though. She did. She tried. I give it to her. She tried.
So I was having this conversation earlier today. I was talking a little bit about your book, but other things. And so there was a song that I heard is called Don't Make It Harder for Me by Chloe and Halle. And so it's kind of like, you got these plans, but this person over here is making it harder for you to make those plans come to fruition.
Right. That's what it was. It's like she meticulously planned everything, and she was willing to, hey, I'm gonna get the perfect husband along with everything else. And yeah, and we're just discussing the first 3 chapters, not like the whole book.
Right.
So she saved herself for marriage. Like, that's how dedicated she was to this cause. Like, I am going to be giving my husband the gift of just virginity, and she was going 32 years old. She needed to get married. She wanted to get her life together. She wanted to get her kids. She wanted it, and she did deserve it. She was a good person.
She was a good girl.
Yeah, she was a good girl. She did everything you were supposed to do. She was faithful to her man. She was faithful to her cause. She was smart. She was intelligent. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better wife. which makes it even more horrible because of the things that happened.
I have a friend who reads the books with me, so we can have discussions before I do these shows. And so she sent me like a text, and she just had the sex scenes were fire. Girl, those things were infernos. So tell me about the research that goes behind that.
You know what? I always say I'm bad on paper so I can be good in life. And I like my readers to be more or less like a fly on the wall. I don't want you to have those Harlequin moments when, like, oh, it gets really, really hot in here and then we close the curtains, or next day she woke up. No, I want you sweat. If they sweating, you sweating.
Yes, you definitely pull that all the way out, right?
Because I've always been fascinated by the romance genre, and I originally got hooked on a Fabio novel. If you don't know the Fabio novel, those were, he was just a gift to women. Yes. Just to look at him, and he evoked things, and all the books he was on, they were just fire. Just, oh my God. I was not old. I was 12 when I started reading. So I guess you can say my research started really
very young.
It was parts of bodies I didn't even know about until I got up there. I was like, oh, that's where the perineum is. Okay.
I know. And you have us looking in at the thesaurus to kind of like,
right. But I do want to challenge my readers. I don't want to just bring, an urban romance suspense to you. I do want to challenge you and take you on another level, not just in the romance department, but the suspense, and then just the vocabulary itself. I started with historical novels, but I hated researching history, but those were the fire novels because they could do some. They did some stuff I ain't never do. You you're like, you can do that with a man?
So this is my first introduction to you and your work. And so I understand that this is like a part of there is a series, but this is pretty much a standalone.
Right. So they're like companion books. So he has all the Black men, and we should probably get to Tyler, who is Tyler Black. All the Black men have something wrong with them. On Tyler's side of the family, they love revenge. They are incensed by revenge. Like, once you do something bad to them, they meticulously plan to destroy you, which is this whole book. Everybody knew who knew the Black people. They knew coming in. Once you met Tyler and you knew which side of the family he was on, Lauren was destined not to get. Was destined for horribleness.
Oh, exactly. She was too innocent to handle all of that.
Yeah, because he had this it was all just a big, you're in my way, and so what? and that's how all the Black men are, or they have something really wrong with them. There's like mental issues or like their physical issues. So everyone knows like the Black men. So they're cousins and brothers that I always say crazy need love too. So,
Yes.
That's where the Black men come from.
Okay. So you mentioned you started out writing historical fiction?
Well, I tried to
Okay.
write historical fiction, but I hated researching everything. Like, when were shoelaces invented? Do I put that in the book? You got to think of that. Did we really have doors, or did we just do curtains most of the time? You got to really research that. And I respect history too much to mess it up. But I loved romances. I love happily ever afters, and just being from Detroit, we love drama. So
okay, so that's where like this romantic suspense kind of marries.
Suspense came because like during high school, right after I was about to graduate from high school, that's when the serial killer thing started. Like the serial killer in Russia started, and I mean it was so much crime being focused on Detroit. It was a lot of crime going on around, and I started to really wonder, like, okay, how aside from all of that and everything you have to do, you want to fall in love. How do you also fall in love, not get killed, and have to deal with your family or outside events at the same time? Because I don't think love is like a one-dimensional thing. And a lot of authors, they just dress the romance side. I hate when they do that, because the people fall in love and then they had a dog, but you don't hear about the dog no more. Who feed the dog? Where'd the dog go? Should we call Peter on you?
Your dog got to live off love too.
Right. So like I love to have a kind of three-dimensional thing going on with my character. So that's how I got into it, because it was crime, suspense, and I just love it. It's just, it gives me chills. And then knowing they're gonna fall in love no matter what. So I just love it. That's I love to know people, and I love people to fall in love. So
I like that it was just for everybody. If you like love, is there. If you like suspense, is there. If you like, urban drama, that's there.
Right.
It was a little bit of everything. So I'm going to ask you to describe Tyler Black physically for us. Give us ladies something to think about today.
Oh my God. Tyler it's so hard, because like, okay, so of course he's over 6 feet and he's well built. Well, he takes care of himself meticulously in the gym. And he's of course got the black hair by all the Black men. And he has these chiseled features that are so stark. And even though he has like black eyes, like they're so pointed and so just there in your face and just see through your soul. You just can't help it. Like he takes over a room when he walks in. But then there's something dark about him whenever he talks, or there's something just horrible about this man. He makes you feel that way on purpose. He makes you feel uncomfortable, because that's how he reads you. He loves you to be uncomfortable. And I think he put Lauren in so many uncomfortable positions that it was just ridiculous. And it wasn't like she was innocent of it. She had studied the art of it.
Yeah.
But and he has his weaknesses, because I always like my men to have their weaknesses. I don't think that an alpha male can be an alpha without having a major weakness. And he did. He had his own little weaknesses behind the scenes that he tried to cover up. But I mean, he's just a formidable character that just earned my respect at the end, even though I did hate him when I was writing him in the beginning. I don't know if you could feel it, but it was just this tension between me and Tyler every time he was just talking, or in the scene or anything. It was just a tension that just came off the page every time.
I think I'm always rooting for the brother to just get right, just get right. So I think that's where I was. So now that you got us all hot, you've described Tyler, I think it's time for us to cool off. So we're going to invite my friend from across the pond, Miss Twani Price, to join us of the Zuri wine tasting. Hey, Twani.
Hi, ladies. How are you? Oh my goodness, Tyler just sounds like too much. He sounds like trouble.
I know, right?
Yes,
It sounds like we met him before.
Dark trouble. Yes.
How are you?
I am great. How are you guys?
Great. Where are you these days? Still South Africa?
Yeah, so I'm calling in from Cape Town, South Africa right now.
Oh, that's so cool. That is so cool.
So how's it going over there? You still over there wine educating, teaching everybody about the greatness of the vino?
Yes, I'm holding it down. COVID's been tough, but luckily I've been able to pivot into online wine tasting classes. So I was just looking at my stats today, and I've been working a lot during COVID. I was I've been putting in some work. I taught over 200 wine classes since September.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, I know during COVID, a lot of alcohol sales are up. We're drinking. And we're home. So I'm glad that you're over there. You're at least educating folks on what they're drinking.
Yeah. And most of my customers are in America. So it's 2 a.m. right now. These are my normal work hours. So I usually work from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m.
Okay.
Which is fun.
That is so cool. That is
so tell us about your kids.
Oh, so that's one thing that I did during COVID too. So when COVID first started, or the lockdown first started, it was perfect opportunity for me to slow down and to focus on something that I always wanted to do. And I always wanted to have a product. So I designed this deductive tasting kit, which helps people discover nuances in wine. So it helps people pick out the different qualities, the aromas, and their personal preference in wine. It's so awesome. I love the kit. I'm super proud of it. Comes with 59 deductive tasting cards, a wine journal where you can not only list the wines that you love, but you can also list any different wine events. So if they go to the Blackout, they can list that, the Black Experience. They can list my event in LA, the Wine Over LA event. And it also comes with these coasters. It's like notepads, and they're coasters that people can use to also keep notes on. And then a membership button. So everybody who buys a kit, they automatically become a member of my wine tribe, which is pretty awesome.
That's cool.
How has COVID impacted you over in South Africa? I know you've been busy since September, but we're almost 10 months in now. So how has it impacted you?
It's crazy that we're 10 months in, right? I mean, I think that honestly, and I mean, don't tell anybody this, I never wished COVID on the world, but I remember when I worked in corporate America, I did wish for there to be some kind of national, something, state of emergency, so nobody would work. I just wanted it to be for 2 days. I didn't want it to be for 10 months. So the first, honestly, I feel like the first couple months, I was pretty happy for the slowdown of the world, right? Because I felt it was God, you were talking earlier, you were it's not about our plan, it's about God's plan, right? So I think it's everybody could slow down and we can kind of see what our priorities are, what's important to us. Yeah, we can reset. And in South Africa, we had a really strict lockdown from March into July for the most part. It was so strict. The only things that were open were the supermarkets, the banks, and the hospitals. There was no Uber Eats. There was no dining out or in at a restaurant. There was no pickup at a restaurant. It was you were cooking for yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. So, other than, I don't know. I just think that it's kind of like Sylvia was saying, there's been a lot of really cool lessons that I've got out of COVID, just about connecting with people, prioritizing people, being transparent with people. You know what I mean? I don't feel like this is the time any longer where you should hold back if you have anything to say, negative or positive, to people.
You really understand your circle. You understand your circle and how to keep peace in your circle and push what you don't want out.
Sure,
Yeah.
this is like a cleansing, you know.
Like, it's like, girl, people dying, and you want to talk about something that really didn't happen. What I said to you, like, tell me what I said to you. Let's
Right.
move on. Like, we're not gonna move on, girl. Bye.
Yes, we should hashtag purge pettiness.
Hashtag purge pettiness.
Yes,
Hashtag
hashtag purge pettiness. Tell our production team add that hashtag purge pettiness.
yes. Hashtag purge pettiness. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like the conversations that you have with people are a lot more intentional now. Like, and they should be. I hope so. You know what I mean? Like, it's serious. People are dying. People are starving. And you want to have a petty conversation with me, girl? Please.
Or you want to be mad because I didn't show up for your birthday party?
Yeah, for real.
That's serious.
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of other stuff. So what are we pairing with this really hot book, Black's Innocence, today, Miss Twani?
Oh gosh, you know what? Tyler's Eyes and Zinfandel, man, go hand in hand, right?
Yes.
So when you think about Zinfandel is a very like dark grape. Like the skin of it is so dark, the juice is so dark, it's almost like purple. So it's like a deep garnet purple color. Just reminds me of Tyler's Eyes. You know, I always tell people I like my wine like I like my men. Dark and strong, and like that kind of reminds me that Zinfandel is definitely that, right? And it's fun, but it's also fun, and it's also fruity, and you know, but it's also, people don't realize it could be very serious Zinfandel at the same time, very complex. So yeah,
just like Tyler.
Yes.
Tyler, right?
So did you choose one? Because I'm drinking one today. I know you're in South Africa, but I chose one from home, like Lodi. So
Lodi is the best, right? So I'm not drinking because it's 2 a.m. So I have made it a point not to drink during the week at 2 a.m. because I teach these wine tasting classes Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And so I'm like, I can't be drinking every day at 2 a.m. So I don't drink during the week at 2 a.m.
Okay.
If I were drinking, or what I did have earlier was some Idiom Zinfandel, which is a South African brand, and they don't have too much Zinfandel grapes down here. So so Idiom Zinfandel.
Okay.
That sounds good. So how do you find the difference between Zinfandel, let's say from Lodi, versus the Zins from South Africa?
You know what? I'm going to just tell it just like this. I think like it's kind of like the characters in the book, right? Tyler could be Tyler in Cape Town. He could be Tyler in LA or Tyler in Detroit, right? I feel like it's pretty much all the same when you have that grape varietal. So the grape varietal is the same, and I actually love drinking it because it reminds me of home. It reminds me of California. Zinfandel is so fruity, it's so rich, it's just so fun, and it's just delicious. So it reminds me of home, and I feel like it's the same for the most part, no matter where you go. You know what I mean? Zinfandel is one of those grapes that it can be affected by the climate. So if it comes from a cooler region, the fruit can be a little bit more underripe than it is ripe. But for the most part, it's the same.
So this Zinfandel is one of my favorite varietals. So I'm glad we chose that today.
Oh,
it's one of the ones that I love to take to parties, and especially summer things. Like, so a lot of times we think about not drinking red wines when it's warm, but I think Zinfandel is perfect for things like that come off the grill, like, you know, summer barbecues. I love Zinfandel. So it's one of my favorites.
Yes, and Lodi is like one of my favorite regions for Zinfandel. I mean, like they have some of the oldest vines in California for Zinfandel. So yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
Grab you a glass of Zinfandel and then go read about Tyler. You might fall in love with him now. Like
I already got my book.
I did a good job on this Tyler Bell. Oh yes.
So hang out with us a few minutes, Tawani, as we wrap up this great conversation with Miss Sylvia, if you have time.
Of course, I am loving it. I'm loving it.
Okay. So Sylvia, tell us about the Michigan Library Network.
Well, it's the Michigan Literary Network, and I started it back in 2000, originally called the Motown Writers Network, and what it basically is to help writers get to their literary goals and then connect readers to Michigan authors. And we have built following. It started at 75, and now we have like almost 10,000 on our mailing list on our
Oh,
very.
wow.
So yeah, we're just working towards, just connecting people, making them read more, which is essential, and just really getting the BS out of the way so they can publish. It's really hard to find. It was really hard to find the education back then, and now it's kind of like I can, easily get people to the door. I just have to like encourage them to open the door and publish that book.
Okay, so it's kind of like a mentor type.
It's a mentor empowerment kind of group where we are literally helping you through the process, do it on your own, empower you to do it on your own, and then go from there. We do direct authors if they want to look for agents. We have resources for that. So we're just a literary resource. If you want to read a book or write a book in Michigan, you can come to us.
I like that. That's a great idea. And other
Yeah.
states need to take heed. So what's your process? Like, how do you sit down and you decide, okay, it's time for a new book? What do you do?
I usually I do a story starter. So when I choose my characters, they usually are at the other end of the spectrum. So if I find the character and, it's kind of like if you ever saw the movie Glass when he talked about all his personalities and how they sit in chairs. So in my mind, I have characters in chairs in my head all the time.
Okay.
And if I see something, I'm like, oh, that's a good characteristic, I'll put it in one of the chairs. When that chair seems to be full and I know their name, I know their nuances, I like them or I hate them, they get the light. They get to come out.
Okay. Okay.
Then I find somebody who they can't get along with or they shouldn't be with, or it'll never work romantically, which in this term, Lauren and Tyler they were literally at the other ends of the spectrums. They come out and make that person's life just a little bit miserable. So and then I find a story that will make both of them miserable and then try to fix it so that we can get a happily ever after. That's my job, is to fix the happily ever after. I made a mess and I got to clean it up.
Okay. So do you dedicate, like, you say, okay, I'm going to write 3 hours a day? Like, do you get up in the morning? I'm getting up at 4 a.m.
Actually not. I'm from a single mom background. When you write where you are.
Okay.
I don't need the candle lights. I don't need the music playing in the background, the low lights or anything. They ran into the store to get the groceries. Let me get my notepad out real fast. So I'm still, even though they're grown now, I'm still of that mindset where wherever I find time in the day, I sit down and write. And I do have a goal in mind. I usually have now scenes. So I try to get through scenes, or if I'm trying to get the red herring in, I try to, I get through that, or I'm trying to build that arc. So, or I'm in the crap hit the fan moment, so I'm trying to get through those scenes now. I used to do word counts. And I used to do about 10,000 words a day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Now I'm down to, I'm relaxing now to about, I usually get about 5,000 words a day in. So that's pretty good for me, in terms of like 3,000 to 5,000 words a day before the day is over. So.
All right. So for us laymen who are not authors, how many pages is that? We know pages. 5,000 words is how many pages?
So 5,000 words would probably be about, I would say, divide that out. You're probably looking at about 13 to 15 pages, depending upon the font size. So yeah, I'm getting through like about 2 to 3 chapters a day. So
okay. That seems like a lot. So I get it now. So, all right. So, I loved your book. I love Black's Innocence, and you've making
Oh.
me want to read others. So how do our viewers find you? And I want you to tell us also what book in the series, where should we start?
Well, for Black's Innocence, you can always start at the first one, which is Love Like This. And that one's actually free on Amazon. So, or even iBook stores or Google stores, they should be all free. So
Okay.
you can go there to pick that up and just, start off with Tyler's older brothers and have fun with that.
Okay.
And then you can find all of my books because I've written over 50 books. I think I'm on book 53 now.
Okay.
So, and like I said, this is a companion book. So the Blacks do appear in other books. So they will be, you'll pick up Lauren somewhere else. I think she's in 2 more books.
Okay. And what's your website?
So it's sylviahubbard.com. And
Okay.
you can find out all about me, what I'm doing, more books to come, of course. It's COVID, so I'm sitting home writing.
Sure. Okay. So we'll definitely be checking you out. And Twani, how do we find you and get that kit?
So you can find me at zuriwine.com, and you can order the kit directly from my homepage. So that's zuriwine.com. You can also just Google Twani Price or Zuri Wine, and you can find me for sure. One thing I forgot to mention about the kit too. So part of the kit, it comes with, or you can upgrade to our deductive tasting class that we host every Tuesday. So it's basically a deductive tasting session where I teach people online how to actually evaluate wines. So you can use the kit. We use the kit. We evaluate wines, and people discover their personal preferences.
Well,
So
I'm definitely going to order the
kit.
kit. I'm going to order, and I encourage our viewers to order as well. Thank you, ladies, both of you, for being a part of Books and Bottles this week. This was a great conversation, and I look forward to reading more of your books, Sylvia, and definitely getting down with your kids, Miss Twani.
Yes, I can't wait to see you when I come back to town.
I can't wait to see you. Look, I'm hugging you right now.
When I saw your face, I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot. It just brought so many memories. Oh gosh.
Yay. We're going to do something. I can't wait.
Yes.
So thank you all for viewing this week's edition of Books and Bottles. I'm your host, Benita Johnson. You can find me at thevinewineclub.com. Until next time, y'all stay safe. Cheers.
Camped out at home for COVID? Join us, Indie TV, where you will see the talk shows, movies, drama, action, and comedy. Be the first and see it first. Sign up now for free at Indie TV.